My Lord and my God, I firmly believe that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask you for pardon of my sins and the grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Mother Immaculate, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. There is a very particular way to classify people, and it is to listen to what they say about those around them. And so, people who consider they are surrounded by great colleagues, whose relatives are lovely, whose bosses are good people, mean that they themselves are great and lovely and good people. On the other hand, people who only see monsters everywhere, who complain about everybody, and only have demeaning words for those around them, well, it may be because they are hosting a little monster in their hearts. Alexia Gonzalez Barros was a 13-year-old girl diagnosed with a painful form of Ewing sarcoma on her spine, which in a short time left her paralytic. She had 4 long operations and a metallic halo fixed to her skull with screws. During her illness, she tried to sanctify everything and offered pains to our Lord, for the Church, for the Pope, for others. Her process of beatification is open, and she is now Venerable Alessia. But the remarkable thing I wanted to use for our meditation today, Lord, as we talk to you, was the perception that she had of everything around her. When she was admitted to hospital, she wrote several letters to her family. In them, it looked like every person she met was lovely. Everybody was great. I read here one of her letters. My first impression of the clinic was that the place was amazing. The nurses are so lovely, so affectionate. And then doctors started popping in, all of them charming. They were all so kind. She was even impressed with the town, Pamplona. She writes, "It is a little town, very pleasant. People are lovely, very friendly. You will love them when you meet them." More than a description of the clinic, or of the people, or the town, I think it gives us a perfect description of her soul, doesn't it? It takes a very pure soul to see the world so bright, so wonderful, so splendid. You need to be lovely to see lovely people everywhere. This example of Alessia gives us light to understand what you, Lord, say in the Gospel we read today. When you, Lord, give us instructions of things you want us to do, you don't ask us to try to do this or that, but do this as I do it. Love, you say, love one another, but love as I love you. Be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. Today, you say to us, be merciful just as your Father is merciful. In other words, when it is about charity, do it as I, God, do it. Try to be like me on this, you say. We know that one of the pillars of Lent is charity. We're always thinking about things that we can do for people, things that we can give people. Today, you, Lord, want us to think about something we can stop doing for people. Stop judging them. I was listening to the testimony of John Pridmore's conversion. He was a gangster who converted after being in prison for years. It is very moving, really. But there is an anecdote he tells, which I find very funny. Having already converted, he started helping out with homeless, and he explains,
So when I came back, I started working with the homeless. Now, I used to have this lie in my head that anyone who was homeless was either a druggie or a drunk. I remember one of the first guys I met on the streets. I said to him, "You should give up drinking." He said, "I don't drink." I said, "Well, then you should give up taking drugs." He said, "I don't take drugs." Now, this is the sort of hypocrite I was. I smoked at the time. And I said, well, you should give up smoking. He said, I don't smoke. He said, do you know what you should give up? I said, no. He said, you should give up judging people. He taught me far more than I taught him.
I think it could be a good resolution for Lent. Let's give up judging people. You, Lord, are the judge, not me. You see, a priest was telling me that he started posting his homilies on his blog. But then one day someone started commenting on one of them saying that it was absolute rubbish and he didn't like it at all and some other nasty things. Now the poor priest was a bit taken aback and considered to quit his blog. But then one of the youngsters of the parish explained to him that the guy who commented on his blog was a troll. A troll? He asked. Yeah, the young lad said. That guy is trolling you. Troll. I think it's a very interesting word. This is completely different from providing feedback or suggesting corrections. Trolls are little monsters, anonymous users who criticize everything and post their opinions with the intention of offending and annoying other people. Can you imagine it? Someone getting on the bus and starting commenting on everybody. You, man, your nose is ugly, but really horrible, man. And you should hide your big ears with your scarf. And you, hey, who chose your clothes? Are you colorblind, or don't you know how to combine colors? Your shoes, man, they're horrible. Hey, and you, your glasses, old man, and your hat, they are ridiculous. Well, that would be a troll, wouldn't it? Saint Josemaria wrote, don't make negative criticism. If you cannot praise, say nothing. I think it could be a good resolution for Lent. There are things that we don't like, but we don't need to tell everybody about it. You see, I don't understand Picasso, modern art for that matter. I'm not fond of jazz, and I don't like cricket. But the fact that I don't like Picasso doesn't mean that it is a bad artist, or jazz is bad music, or cricket is boring. I think it clearly means that I just don't understand them. And therefore, it is not Picasso's problem. It is my problem. And the same can happen with many things that we don't like, or people that we don't understand. Do you remember Atticus Finch from the novel and the film To Kill a Mockingbird? His most famous quote is,
You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view.
Sir?
Till you climb inside of his skin, walk around in it.
You see, we never understand a person until we are in his skin. And that is the point. We will never be. That is why it is impossible to judge a person if I am not you, Lord. A lady was telling me how her feelings changed towards another person. Apparently, there was this other lady from the parish that she didn't get along with. But then she found out that the lady in particular had had a miscarriage. And suddenly everything changed. She went to visit her, and they chatted for a long time and ended up being great friends. And the reason? Well, guess what? She herself had had a miscarriage years before. Suddenly, she was under her skin. She had compassion because she knew how it feels. Now, we don't know much about other people. We don't know how much time it took Picasso to design and paint one of his works. I don't play jazz. I don't know the rules of cricket. I don't know what's going on in the home of this doctor who is so insensitive. I don't know what happened to that driver who was so rude. I don't know why this man is so snappy and that child is crying. and that man is cursing, and that other lady is shouting at me. If I try to judge, I will very likely be wrong, Jesus. I pray for them and leave the judgment to you. You see, there are sentences in the gospel that can be our sentence, our final sentence for the final judgment. Remember the last line of the gospel today. The measure with which you measure will be used with you. Think calmly as you finish your prayer. Do you think that sentence is going to help you enter heaven? If Jesus uses the measure that you use with others, this is a grace that I ask through your intercession, Mary, my Mother Immaculate, Mother of Mercy, that we may be merciful as our Father in heaven is merciful. I give you thanks, my God, for the good resolutions, affections, and inspirations that you have communicated to me in this meditation. I ask you for help to put them into effect. My Mother Immaculate, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.